Hey everyone, Biodrot here, and I welcome you to my take on the best gunners in Transformers Earth Wars. This is my personal list, so no definite statement, but this is how I experienced these bots in the 2 years I play this game, and I hope that you enjoy it. Some general words on gunners before we start, to those who may be new to the game. Gunners are the bots in the game with the longest attack range, meaning that I think the only one that has a longer range is Smokescreen, who is a special class bot, but they definitely have a long range attack, so that they first they can attack several buildings without being fired back at. These buildings are the laser turrets and the shock towers, and they can shoot over walls. At the moment they have a little bug going on that this doesn't work, but generally if they meet, let's say, this missile launcher here, the gunners can shoot over the walls while all other classes will attack the walls first to get to the defense. So this is a pretty good asset of gunner bots. Due to the long range, they generally staying in the second row, so to speak, of your attack squad, so they will always or tend to be at a safe distance from all attacks, but they also have a tendency to walk some weird path as they simply have another targeting system than the melee or the short range bots, and they may go after other buildings than the rest of the squad. So watch out for your gunners when doing your attacks, because as soon as they are isolated against defenses they can't take out without being fired back at, they will go down pretty fast. So yeah, watch out for them. And there are a few power cores in this game that actually focus a defense's fire on gunners. I think there's the target protocol. Do I have a target protocol? No, I don't like that core too much. I think it's for mortars and will prioritize gunners and medics, I think. And then there is the point defense beam for the headquarters that also prioritizes gunners, so be mindful of that as well. So with no further ado, let's start with my take on the best gunners in this game. Enjoy!
Number 11, Cliffjumper. The bot that's condemned to being either a red Bumblebee repaint, as he is in Earth Wars, or to be killed off in close to every Transformers universe, is the least attractive gunner to me. This is mainly because he has nothing that makes him special. His DPS and health are average at best, and his special ability is useless on its own and mediocre when combined with others, since it has limited range, effect area and duration. The latter can be compensated with spark investment, but I don't think it's worth the cost. On the upside, Cliffjumper can be a decent outpost bot when paired with other AoE bots like Starsaber, Sunstreaker or others, and his ability became a little more interesting with the introduction of raid battles. My suggestions for improvement are giving him the other scout scaled bot's dodging ability and increasing his ability range. Number 10, Dust Up. Being the right arm of Victorion is probably Dust Up's most valuable quality. Like Cliffjumper, her DPS and health are only average, and her ability lets a lot to be desired, damage first and foremost. It has a huge area of effect, although I don't find it being huge enough to compensate the lack of impact. Her most useful purpose is cleaning up pre-damaged structures, especially when you run out of ability points. With only 3 points initially and an increment of 1, her Cluster Strike is the cheapest ability of all gunners. My suggestions for improvement are increasing her ability's range and maybe adding an effect to it, like burning damage or slowing down defenses for a few seconds. Number 9, Mirage. I talked in depth about the invisible race car in my Spotlight video, which I will link in this video's description. Mirage is a decent add to every squad, but he's just that, an addition. He's rarely a difference maker due to his average stats, but his ability might save you a battle or two in disabling the last few defenses for just the seconds you need. Especially the ability's range and cost are interesting, but their damage is pretty weak though. My suggestion for improvement would be a G1 power core that gives him his characteristical invisibility every few seconds, like RC constantly doing her backflip to heal. And a little damage push to the EMP rocket would be helpful as well. Number 8, Sea Spray. People hate the yellow chubby hovercraft. Sea Spray will be on a lot of people's who I don't want to pull lists. But he isn't that bad if you look closer. They added Skyburst splash damage to his attack, which, combined with his for a gunner pretty high health, is helpful in walk attacks, although his DPS isn't stellar. When fed with a little spark, 2 of his tornadoes can wreck bases single-handedly, but they will take ages to do so. His ability is so slow that often enough the buildings you aim for already got taken out by the squad. So my clear suggestion for improvement is to speed up his whirlwind significantly. Number 7, Sunstreaker. When creating this list, I was surprised that the cocky hotshot didn't end up higher. On first sight, his ability is devastating. He's durable and he does decent enough damage. But over time, Sunstreaker got labeled a little obsolete. With so many AoE bots in the game nowadays, his slowly burning limited area affecting frames don't seem to be too appealing anymore, especially considering their cost. With enough spark invested, he still will be a strong add to most squads, and having him available as a 5-star adds to the value. Maybe reducing the initial cost of his attack could revive his popularity. Number 6, Autobot Jazz. Cluster up all your key defenses and the Autobot's first lieutenant will make you miserably pay for that mistake. His orbital strike might be slow and expensive, but using it in the right base and maybe even combining it with Arid's fusion bomb will leave nothing but burned ground. His basic stats are rather mediocre, so most people's motivation to add him to the mix is his special ability. Since it's pretty situational and expensive and gets less effective on the more properly designed bases, Jazz misses the top 5, but he's one of the best balanced gunners in the game. Number 5, Prowl. Opening up the top 5 is one of the most iconic characters in all of Transformers. Offering a decent DPS combined with average health, Prowl is one of the few one-shot bots in the gunner class. His ability might have a shorter range than the classic bombers, but with its area effect he can kill up to 4 buildings at once and instantly, which is a huge advantage. He also got a pretty cool G1 core, boosting and adding a Sunstreaker-like burn to his rockets, which makes him even more appealing. If it wasn't for the rather expensive price for his devastation, he could be right on top of this list. Number 4, Alpha Bravo. On the surface, the infamous newest addition to the aerial bots is a carbon copy of the just mentioned Prowl. But if you dig deeper, you see 2 major differences that to me make him superior. First is the fact that he does more damage. Not much, but it's there. Granted, he has a little lower health in return. But what I really dig about Alpha Bravo is the fact that he goes airborne when using his ability, taking him out of range of all buildings but laser turrets and missile launchers. And since gunners have a greater shooting range than the mentioned turrets, he might take out one of these threats without being scratched at all. Number 3, Skyburst. I know, Stormclast's twin sister technically is not a gunner, but a special class bot. But the way Skyburst works in-game, she's a gunner to the core. The one thing that set her apart from the pack was her splash damage while standard attacking, but that got copied over to Sea Spray. Fact is that she by far has the highest DPS of all bots in this list, and still brings a decent health to the mix. Her ability has a great range and might be a little on the erratic side, but it is devastating on short distance and pretty cheap in the process. Like Bravo, she's airborne while using it and therefore escapes ground damage, which also adds value to her being part of your squad. Number 2, Warpath. The literal tank of all gunners definitely is something special. Not only is Warpath the best armored bot in his class, with still having a not too shabby DPS rate, but he brings an ability that is unique on its own. His projectile might not seem too powerful at first, but it covers the whole map. So when aimed correctly in a more diagonal way, 2 shots from his barrel might erase half of a base. Taking out so many buildings compensates for the already moderate costs of these shots, and he's not as layout depending as he seems to be. A strong add to the Earthwars roster, and yet he's not my favorite. Number 1, Hound. Having the old detective on top of my list might surprise some, but it shouldn't. First off, out of all gunners, Hound has the best DPS to health ratio, with Skyburst coming in a very close second. The key to love Hound is to understand his ability. While his holograms seem to scatter over the map in a pretty random way, there's a pattern to the chaos. Knowing that they always spread in some sort of triangle, with the aimed at building being its tip, his holos can be directed pretty precisely and therefore become deadly weapons. 2 shots might take 5 buildings even in higher zones, and dealing double damage to storages makes Hound the perfect resource collector. Even power leveling other bots with him is absolutely possible. Sure, for most effect the base layout should fit, but unlike other base depending bots, his holos will always hit something and are therefore useful in almost every setup. With his G1 core involved, he even becomes an asset for his comrades in providing a distraction while they move in, himself staying safe in the background. All of this easily makes up for the rather expensive cost of using his ability, and to me make him the best overall package in the game.
So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the list, and yeah, I'm curious to know if you agree or disagree with my take on this topic. And I would like to know who you think is the best gunner for you in Transformers Earth Wars. So let me know in the comments. Leave me a subscription if you haven't already done it. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. BioDroid out.